I'm Chris Farha, and coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you about Coach Bob Huggins' legacy.
I'm Will Aldrich, and coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you about a group of underclassmen for the WVU baseball team that have had to step up much earlier than expected for Randy Mazey.
I'm Taylor Kennedy, and coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you how it's all in the leg.
I'm Mark Schoenster, and coming up next on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll tell you about our perennial powerhouse rifle team and their trip to the NCAA tournament. What's going on, everybody? We're back with a new edition of Mountaineer Playbook. I'm Mark Schoenster.
And I'm Ireland Viscount. We've got men's basketball, baseball, soccer, and more coming your way on today's episode.
Bob Huggins reached 900 wins over this past weekend, joining an elite group of 5 other coaches in men's D1 basketball history. Chris Farha is outside the basketball practice facility to tell us more about his legacy.
Bob Huggins recently picked up his 900th career win in the first round of the NCAA tournament. In his 38 years of coaching, he is the 13th winningest coach and 6th winningest coach with the Division I program. Bob Huggins has spent the last 14 seasons as the men's basketball coach for the Mountaineers. Over those years, he has won a total of 309 games leading the Mountaineers, led his teams to 10 NCAA tournaments, including a Final Four appearance in 2010.
You know, now you go out there and you say, how do you ever win? You know, how am I ever supposed to win when other people have teams like that? And then my first year at Cincinnati, not my first year at Cincinnati, but my first year with when we actually could go out and recruit and get guys, and that was Eric Martin and Corey Blunt and Nick Van Exel and Herb Jones and so forth and so on. The first time those guys were in the NCAA tournament, we went to the Final Four. So now you start looking around saying, maybe we can do this.
Huggins has been on the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame ballot for 4 straight years. He is a 6-time National Coach of the Year and has won 13 conference regular season titles. Huggins used to play for the Mountaineers from 1975 to 1977. He then went on to a tryout with the NBA's Philadelphia 76ers, but was cut. Huggins will try to lead WVU to its first ever NCAA National Championship this season. Huggins was named semifinalist for the 2021 Naismith Men's Coach of the Year, but was not selected as a finalist. Chris Farha, Mountaineer Playbook, Morgantown.
Thanks, Chris. It's a shame he couldn't reach 901, but we know he'll be back at it again next season.
That's right, Mark. With key absences from multiple starters from the WVU baseball team, certain underclassmen have been forced to step up early in their career. For head coach Randy Mazey, Will Aldrich is at Mon County Ballpark for more on the story.
When true freshman Mikey KLUSKA sent the Mountaineer faithful into a frenzy with his first career walk-off home run to conclude the series against Central Michigan, he added to the growing list of freshmen who have been forced to step up in key spots for Randy Mazey this season.
He outworks people. He wouldn't have got all these moments if Tevin Tucker wasn't injured originally. And he's just taken it and ran with it and gotten better and is never afraid and is positive.
When the Mountaineers got hit by the injury bug earlier in the offseason, the Mountaineers lost one of their main starting pitchers and their starting shortstop for the season. This, paired with absences from starters Paul McIntosh, Tyler Dones, and Hudson Bjork, have led to plenty of opportunities for younger players to prove themselves earlier in the season. With an 11-game homestand here at Monongalia County Ballpark, many of the underclassmen will have a great opportunity to get comfortable with the role before hitting the road. Big 12 play starts on April 1st. Players like Nathan Plosick, McGuire Holbrook, and William Bean are among many freshmen who have been thrown into action early in the season. Mikey KLUSKA, a freshman from White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, currently leads the team in many offensive categories such as average, hits, and RBIs.
The day I got here, I wasn't really focused on playing time or anything. I just took it day by day and tried to work as hard as I can and get better and improve myself, and then kind of just let the rest come. Obviously, it's terrible what happened to Tevin, And but I'm just trying to help our team win.
With the amount of able underclassmen, it is clear the Mountaineer baseball team is more than set for the future. But the focus right now remains in the present, where the Mountaineers are getting ready to take on a gauntlet of a Big 12 schedule. Will Aldrich, Mountaineer Playbook, Morgantown.
Thanks, Will. The Mountaineers have a series this weekend against Kansas here in Morgantown if you want to see them in person.
Redshirt junior Casey Legg will be going into his 4th season with the Mountaineer football team. Although the anticipated starting kicker, Legg had not always played football prior to WVU. Taylor Kennedy has the latest on his story.
The West Virginia University Mountaineer football team have produced some of the more iconic names in program history. Players like Josh Lambert, Pat McAfee, and Paul Woodside. The Mountaineers have a player on their roster this season with a very unique last name, especially for this sport. Junior Casey Legg will be entering his 4th season with the Mountaineers. He's appeared in a variety of games over his tenure in Morgantown, especially appearing in 7 games last season. Legg, a Charleston native, says that it has been an honor to represent his state these last few years.
It's an honor to be able to play for West Virginia, and I wouldn't want to be playing anywhere else. And then there's definitely a connection with the community that I get, especially when I'm home in Charleston, of people who are just proud of me and I just love that I've been given this opportunity to represent the state.
Legg's last name has become a staple for his popularity all over social media. Legg bursted into the social media world after WVU's Halloween matchup against Kansas State. The WVU fan base showed their love for the junior kicker. He says that it has been an awesome experience seeing the love from the fans.
It's been really cool. I think it really started after the Halloween game last year against Kansas State when I was able to go in, make a couple of field goals. And that's really when all the tweets started happening and all a little bit of the attention and some of the following. So it has been really cool. Somewhat surprising. I guess it comes with the last name and kicking for WVU.
Legg has already cemented his name in the record books forever. His sophomore season, he nailed the 7th longest field goal in program history. Legg had not always played football. Prior to coming to WVU, he was the captain on his soccer team at Cross Lanes Christian School in Charleston. Legg will be competing for playing time this upcoming fall against fellow West Virginian Evans Daly. The Mountaineers begin spring practice this week. The Gold and Blue will conclude spring activities on April 24th at 1 p.m. at Milan Pushkar Stadium with the annual Gold and Blue game. I'm Taylor Kennedy for Mountaineer Playbook, Morgantown.
Thanks, Taylor. The Mountaineer rifle team took a trip to Columbus this month for the NCAA Rifle Championship. After a half season filled with the social distancing challenge, Mark Schunster had the chance to wrap up the season.
National titles are commonplace for the perennial rifle powerhouse West Virginia, but this season they didn't even place in the top 3.
I suspect everyone was a little disappointed how we finished, just both in performance and an actual outcome and result. And hopefully that motivates everyone and all of us to get back at it for next year.
The team ended up finishing 4th in the nation, and although they weren't able to add to their trophy case this year, there are still many positives to take away from this season. One positive being that the season got to happen at all.
What we're doing, pales in comparison to people working in hospitals and people actually dealing with a global pandemic. So, I think ultimately reflecting, like, we were really fortunate to have a season and be able to do the thing that we love to do, which is our job, and for the athletes be able to come each day and practice and compete.
It is evident that both coaches and players are thankful that a season got to happen all the way to its completion. On top of that, every shooter who competed in the championship for West Virginia had never been in this situation before and are all returning next year. Junior shooter Jared Eddy believes this year's finish will act as a motivator for next season.
That's going to be a huge driver and motivator for every one of us. And I think next year we will come back very strong, very confident in our abilities.
From disappointment to gratitude to determination, that wraps up the 2021 spring season for the rifle team. Now each will go their separate ways for now, reflect on their experiences, and look to come back stronger in the fall. Mark Schunster, Mountaineer Playbook, Morgantown.
We will be back after this short break. We still have fishing, swimming, and diving, as well as soccer coming your way on Mountaineer Playbook.
up on Mountaineer Sports Playbook, I will tell you how Dan Stratford of West Virginia University and Sean TEEPIN of Bowling Green State University look to stay competitive despite coaching with each other at the University of Charleston.
I'm Ireland Viscount, and coming up next on Mountaineer Playbook, I'm going to tell you how the swimming and diving team here at West Virginia University is making history.
I'm Cole Pancake, and coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'm going to tell you where to catch your next flunker.
We conquer mountains, but that's not why they call us Mountaineers. It's because we don't let anything stand in our way. We build what's never been built, seek cures for the incurable, and go first into undiscovered frontiers. We are Mountaineers, and impossible is just another mountain to climb.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Playbook, the Reed College of Media's student-produced sports program. There's still a lot to talk about in WVU athletics. Isn't that right, Ireland?
That's right, Mark. New head coach Dan Stratford and WVU men's soccer look to build on their road victory over the weekend, but are challenged by familiar faces every time they take the pitch. Cooper Zent has the story.
The West Virginia men's soccer season has kicked off. Normally a fall sport, but the NCAA has shifted the season due to COVID-19. West Virginia is looking to keep their winning momentum going with games against Marshall University on Wednesday and Bowling Green State University on Sunday. During these games, some familiar faces to fans of West Virginia soccer will be on the sidelines. Dan Stratford and Sean TEEPIN are no stranger to each other and are excited to face one another this season. The two coached at the University of Charleston, a Division II school in Charleston, West Virginia. In 2014 and 2015, TEEPIN served as the goalkeeper coach, and Stratford served as the assistant coach for the Golden Eagles. Both served under current Marshall University head coach Chris Grassi. During their time at the University of Charleston, they helped guide the Golden Eagles to a Division II title game in 2014, only to finish as national runner-up to Lynn University after coming into the game undefeated. Both of these coaches have made considerable impacts in college soccer.
So for a 3-year stretch there, I was at 4 different universities at 4 different, completely different areas of the country, right? So
TEEPIN left for Coastal Carolina University in 2016 before becoming an assistant coach at Oregon State University in 2017. In 2018, TEEPIN joined Bowling Green State University as an assistant before becoming associate head coach after the 2019 season. Stratford stayed at the University of Charleston and was named head coach after Chris Grassi's departure in 2017. During his time there, he won 2 national titles in 3 championship appearances. Both coaches have had success during their coaching careers and are looking to keep their friendship friendly, even if they are rivals in the MAC.
We can't help who our conference competition is. We're going to prepare to beat Bowling Green. Bowling Green are going to prepare to beat us, and we'll compete and we'll be testy, and I'm sure it will get heated at times. But when the final whistle blows, I can assure you that I'll go over and me and Teeps will still be mates.
The Mountaineers are looking to improve their record against Marshall University on Wednesday night, March 24th at 7 p.m. at Dick DeLess Stadium. The Mountaineers resume conference play against Bowling Green on Sunday, March 28th at Bowling Green at 3 p.m. I am Cooper Zent, Mountaineer Playbook, Morgantown.
The University of Charleston seems to know how to find great coaches, right, Mark?
Absolutely. And I can imagine it's great for Coach Stratford to see familiar faces each season. Switching to swimming and diving, the men's team are sending a personal best 5 competitors to the NCAA swimming and diving finals this weekend. Ireland Viscount here has more.
5 West Virginia swimming and diving team members will be headed to North Carolina at the end of this month to compete in the NCAA. Jake LOWE, who is competing in the 1 and 3 meter springboard event, can't wait to compete with his teammates.
It's awesome. It's one of those things that I feel like, especially with all of the different things our team has faced this season in regards to adversity with COVID, I think it's a really true testament to the direction of where this team is moving in the next couple of years, and I'm glad to be a part of it right now.
The swimming and diving team is out here making history here at WVU, and these men are excited and all about having fun at the NCAA.
I'm really excited. I think it'll be a really cool experience that not a whole lot of people get to go to. It's going to be really cool going with 3 other divers as well.
If you want to keep up with the Mountaineers at the NCAA March 24th to the 27th, you can get updates at ncaa.com or watch it live on ESPN3.
We've got one more story before we let you go.
Warm weather has returned in West Virginia, and Cole Pancake is back in the outdoors to tell us how local fishing is heating up.
Spring is beginning to return to the Mountain State, and with it comes some of the best fishing of the year. The spring spawning season is almost upon us, which is when fish begin their reproductive cycle, and with it, the bite starts to heat up.
Fish start to feed aggressively to bulk up ahead of their spawn, and some of the best game fish around Morgantown, including smallmouth and largemouth bass, walleye, and bluegill, are beginning their yearly feast. West of the city lies Peddler Wildlife Management Area, a 762-acre wildlife refuge that withholds 2 large lakes, each designated for public fishing. Dixon Lake, the smaller of the 2, is catch and release only, with an additional requirement of barbless hooks. Mason Lake lies just up the road from Dixon and is over twice as large, with depths reaching nearly 50 feet. Each lake presents great opportunities for largemouth bass, bluegill, and catfish. Meandering through the heart of downtown Morgantown is the Monongahela River. Flowing north from Fairmont to Pittsburgh, the river is an anomaly. However, it holds great opportunities for fishing. There are multiple boat ramps along the shore, and for walking access, areas such as the Morgantown Lock and Dam and the confluence of Deckers Creek are quite productive. The Mon holds a variety of fish species, but it's best known for its walleye, sauger, catfish, and white bass fishing. East of the city sits Cheat Lake, a man-made dam that splits the Cheat River in 2. With a boat, the opportunities to fish appear endless. However, there are plenty of good access points for those on foot. Cheat Lake Park near the Pennsylvania border provides anglers with a vast amount of shoreline to cast from, and the access point at Isis Ferry Bridge allows anglers to target schooling fish near the mouth of the river.
Spring fishing, particularly in this area, can be some of the best of the year. Remember to get creative with your lures and fish hard. I'm Cole Pancake, Mountaineer Playbook, Morgantown.
Thanks, Cole. Warm weather at the end of the winter is always a relief. But with that, we've reached the end of today's episode.
Tune in again in 2 weeks to hear more stories about WVU athletics and Morgantown recreation. Thanks for watching Mountaineer Playbook.